Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. It always seems impossible until it's done. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. A good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination, for to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. Do not judge me by my successes, judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. It is in your hands to create a better world for all who live in it. There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. I am not a saint unless you think of a saint as a sinner who keeps on trying. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished. To deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. I dream of an Africa which is in peace with itself. We can change the world and make it a better place. It is in your hands to make a difference. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Real leaders must be ready to sacrifice all for the freedom of their people. Courageous people do not fear forgiving, for the sake of peace. There is nothing like returning to a place that remains unchanged to often the ways in which you yourself have altered. There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul and the way in which it treats its children. Money won't create success, the freedom to make it will. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. I am the captain of my soul. It is not where you start, but how high you aim that matters for success. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. Freedom cannot be achieved unless the women have been emancipated from all forms of oppression. Let there be justice for all, let there be peace for all, let there be work, bread, water, and salt for all. I like friends who have independent minds because they tend to make you see problems from all angles. To be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances freedom of others. The time for healing of the wounds has come. The moment to bridge the chasms that divide us has come. We must use time wisely and forever realize that the time is always ripe to do right. It is in the character of growth that we should learn from both pleasant and unpleasant experiences. As long as poverty, injustice, and gross inequality persist, in our world none of us can truly rest. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. People respond in accordance to how you treat them. The harder the conflict, the greater the triumph. Do not allow your past to dictate who you are. but allow it to be part of who you will become. Forgiveness liberates the soul. It removes fear. That is why it is such a powerful weapon. I stand here before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people. Leadership is not about being in charge. It is about taking care of those in your charge. When people are determined, they can overcome anything. Courageous people do not fear forgiving for the sake of peace. It is in your hands to make a difference. Overcoming poverty is not a gesture of charity. It is an act of justice. We must strive to be moved by a generosity of spirit that will enable us to outgrow the hatred and conflicts of the past. In the end, reconciliation is a spiritual process which requires more than just a legal framework. It has to happen in the hearts and minds of people. The people are the nation is the people. The state is an artificial construct that exists to serve the people. A good leader can engage in a debate frankly and thoroughly, knowing that at the end he and the other side must be closer and thus emerge stronger. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.